Hello, you are here for your weekly dose of ADHD knowledge. I'm Roxana Cardos, and today we're going to talk about the ADHD misdiagnosis in adults. Particularly, we're going to talk about the DSM, which stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Fancy. It's published by the APA, which is the American Psychiatric Association. A lot of fanciness, right? But what I want you to understand is that this body is the one that regulates what classes as official ADHD criteria or not. And it's quite political to get things into this manual or out of this manual. They say that they update it regularly, but for example, they've updated in 2013, and the last time was in 2022. So there's a bit of a gap, particularly on how fast the research is going on adults with ADHD. And I wrote a blog. If you're more of a reader and you want to see this pointed out in writing, and you can find the link below, about some of the reasons why you might have a misdiagnosis. Because the first thing that adults get when they get their diagnosis, some of them are actually quite relieved that they finally understand what's happening with them, but they get angry. They say, like, why didn't anyone spot this until now? What happened? And what you need to do is you need to understand that this is a fairly new disorder for adults. They used to think that you grow out of this once you finish with childhood. And it's only fairly recent, to be honest, that they discovered that it goes all the way to adulthood, and it manifests in different ways. And I have to be very honest with you. I had people, so like doctors, psychiatric doctors, that refused to collaborate with me because they didn't think that they could put an accurate diagnosis. Some of them are honest, right? But if you think about it, if you finish grad school, you're technically allowed to put a diagnosis. Not everyone is very honest about this, or they just want to give it a go, or they try. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for saying these kind of things, for giving you all the information away. But there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I know that for you it's quite confusing because you read something online, for example, about the hypersensitivity, how it is associated with people with ADHD, and it can actually be a criteria. But then when you go to the doctors and you use that as a criteria to talk about your ADHD, they're saying, well, it's not being recognized. So depending on who you're going to see, it really depends, like the which side of the world, first of all, and like the access to information, but also the year of their graduation and their passion for ADHD. Because in the DSM, it's only like half a page where they talk about the ADHD. There's not a lot of information to put a diagnosis on. So it's really about the experience that they get outside of that half a page that makes them a good doctor to put your diagnosis. That's all from today. I would love to hear from you. What was your experience of getting your diagnosis as an adult? Particularly because we have an international community over here, I would like to get a sense of how it feels in different sides of the world, particularly in America, Romania, England, Germany, Spain, right? Like let's try to see that actually doesn't matter in which country you were born. We're having a fairly similar experience when it comes to getting our diagnosis in ADHD, and I just told you why. If you found this video useful, share and like it with other people so we can get them educated about this topic. I know there's a bit of about the topic of misdiagnosis, but we really have to understand where we're going, and we have to celebrate the progress that we're making at the moment. I will see you next week for another dose of ADHD knowledge. Bye for now.